At the end of the Cold War, a famous essay was published in a magazine called The National Interest. It was The End of History, by Francis Fukuyama. In 1992, he enlarged his essay into a book entitled The End of History and the Last Man. In his essay, he wrote this: What we may be witnessing is not just the end of the Cold War or the passing of a particular period of post-war history, but the end of history as such. That is, the end point of mankind's ideological evolution and the universalization of Western liberal democracy as the final form of human government. Unquote. The idea that history was ending was quite puzzling to most people. They didn't think that they were living at the end of history, because to most people that strongly implies that the end of history means the end of the world, and that means the end of our existence. To quote Infogalactic, quote, the phrase the end of history was first used by French philosopher and mathematician Anton Augustin Cournot in 1861 to refer to the end of the historical dynamic with the perfection of civil society. Unquote. I often write about liberalism and the autonomous individual, the idea that the aim of liberalism is to create the autonomous individual, a person who is self-made, who can choose their own identity in every way. Nothing is predetermined. We are born with a sex, an ethnicity, a race, with predetermined abilities, but that won't be true for the autonomous individual. They live at the end of history, a time where events still take place, but all the big, important issues have been decided. The most important is that liberalism is the end of history. No other philosophy or ideology can replace it, because it is, like the autonomous individual, the high point of human existence. This is utopia by another name, no different to the communist classless society or any other utopia. The perfect society run by a perfect system of government who rule over perfect people within a perfect economic system. If all this sounds like madness to you, then that's because you're still sane.